Hey guys, this is Austin, and today I'm here with a comparison between the iPad 3 and the MacBook Air. At first glance, this looks like an odd comparison, as not only is the MacBook Air over twice the price, but it also runs OS X Lion, whereas the new iPad is on iOS 5.1. You trade the backlit physical keyboard of the Air for a virtual on-screen keyboard on the iPad, and a pair of USB ports along with Thunderbolt for a 30-pin connector. On the other hand, you swap an 11.6-inch 1366x768 display for the iPad's 9.7-inch Retina display with a resolution of 2048x1536. Pixel density is great on the MacBook Air, but the iPad is nothing short of spectacular in comparison. You also gain a multi-touch display along with a very different form factor. The MacBook Air is just like a normal laptop, albeit much thinner. You have the screen up top and the keyboard and trackpad on bottom. In comparison, the iPad is all screen, with navigation done by touch and with the virtual keyboard only appearing when you need it. The MacBook is better for typing, and the fact that it props itself up is nice, but the iPad is better for holding in the hand, and the touchscreen is very natural to use. I recently spent a week traveling with only the iPad and the MacBook Air, and I want to start off by saying that I do a lot of work with video if you hadn't guessed, and all of it was done on the MacBook. The iPad does have a fairly competent video editor in iMovie, but it just doesn't match up to full editors on OS X. Not to mention having full file system access is basically a necessity for me to get work done. On the other hand, whenever I could, I found myself using the iPad. Being able to watch full 1080p video on a 9.7-inch screen is fantastic, and even though I miss using Chrome and having Flash support, Safari on the iPad really is good. The official Twitter app for iPad is great, and Mail.app isn't half bad either, although I still prefer Sparrow. I also do a lot of reading, and as far as I'm concerned, nothing can even touch the iPad as an ebook reader. With the Retina display, this is the first tablet I've used that makes text as crisp as it would on an actual book. Overall, I've come away from this little experiment with a few main thoughts. For as capable as it is, if you're someone who relies on working with video, photos, music, or writing, the MacBook Air is a spectacular little machine. The 11-inch Air is only slightly larger overall than the iPad, and packs enough power to get real work done. On the other hand, the iPad is extremely capable, and is a very different way of doing things in comparison. iOS hides things like the file system and restricts you to using apps for almost everything, but because of this it's very simple to use with very few headaches. It also has excellent battery life at around 9 hours, compared to the roughly 4.5 hours of the Air, and having the option to use 4G LTE is fantastic. For around half the price, the iPad is the better choice for most people, but for me it just can't replace the MacBook. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in more videos like this, be sure to subscribe.